Hi, my name is Valerie, and this is my 8th video on my no-poo experience. This also is going to be my final video because this series was supposed to be the first month that I tried doing this method so that you could just kind of come along with me and see me learn and maybe learn a few things yourself, because it is almost the very last day of June. Today is the 28th. And the next time that I go to take a shower, it's going to be July after this. So my first shower was on June 1st. I used baking soda and apple cider vinegar. My last shower was on June 24th, where I used an egg mask again. And I talked about how I really enjoyed using the egg mask recipe out of all the recipes that I'd tried so far. And today I will be using the rye flour method again, but I got a different type of flour this time. The last two times I did this, I used quinoa flour. This time, when I was at the store, since I'm camping and my resources are different, I could only find two options. One option was almond flour, which was $10 for a bag of it, and my other option was a gluten-free baking flour, which it is made of rice flour, tapioca starch, and cornstarch, I believe, and that was much less than $10, so I said, I'm gonna try this instead. And it's good to try different types of the same ingredient just to see if one is better than the other, especially since everybody's hair is different. So I'm kind of excited to try that for today. The other thing I want to talk about before we get started is this guy. Remember this guy? The boar bristle brush. This side is the very coarse or very stiff side, and this side is the much softer side. And I just wanted to talk about my experience using it because I've been using it for, a week or so now. And I actually like the stiffer side better, because even though my hair is very fine, it's kind of thick. It's got a lot of hair in it. And using the softer side, it more just kind of straightens out whatever's on top. It doesn't really go into my hair to actually straighten out what's underneath. But the stiffer side does a much better job at, getting the tangles out, penetrating down to my scalp, and just making my hair really soft and tangle free. So overall, I do really like using this. And there's a hair here, but it's not as hard to keep clean as I was worried that it was. Since growing up and seeing these at family and friends' house with a bunch of hair in it, I always thought the hair got tangled in there and was really hard to remove, and then it would just look gross sitting on someone's counter. But as long as every time I use it, I just kind of remove the hair right away, I haven't had an issue with keeping it clean, and it works really good for my hair. So I recommend trying something like this, even if it's for a short period of time, just to see if you like it too. So now that we have that over with, let's get started. I mixed my ingredients beforehand so you don't have to watch my hands mixing again. And I once again made kind of a soup instead of a paste, but it's about 3 tablespoons. What I can remember is 3 tablespoons of flour with what I thought was just enough water to try and make a paste. But it is this Hodgson Mill baking flour that is gluten-free. And then for my apple cider vinegar, we have about a tablespoon mixed with almost a cup of water again. And I hope that if you're doing this at home, that you have better mixing results than I do. So we'll see how this turns out. So from the get-go, I don't even really have to move my hair around for you to see that there's some stringiness going on. It definitely is clumped together, even though I combed it out fairly well. And once I move my hair, it just, you can tell how much oil is in there. It all stays together pretty good. But back to the unmessed up side, you can see that it's very shiny and it's very soft. Up on top, it almost feels very slippery. Not like there's oil coming off onto my hand, but just it's very coated and my hand glides over it very easily. And I definitely think that the egg does not take out as much oil as the flour, and that's why it is like this. And forgive the waves in the bottom section of my hair. I had my hair in a braid today, but even the bottom section of my hair, I can tell that there's a little oil in there. So that brush definitely is doing a good job with pulling all that oil down through my hair to the ends. And I can't wait to take a shower and get my hair clean. The Hodgson Mills gluten-free flour definitely acted differently from the quinoa flour I'd used before. It didn't really thicken up, and the cornstarch and the tapioca starch kept settling out into the bottom of the bowl, so I had to stir it in order to get it back into solution so that I could put it in my hair. But once it was in my hair, it was just like using a very fine grain quinoa flour, fine milled quinoa flour. And I definitely say dampening my hair before putting the flour in really does help, because then it doesn't dry out and it doesn't fall out of your hair like sand. So that's very useful tip, I think. And then I let it sit in my hair for a minute, just tried to make sure that it got through all the different layers of my hair. And then when I rinsed it out into the bowl and put it off to the side so that I could finish with apple cider vinegar and clean myself off, while I was doing that, all of the flour kind of settled into the bottom of the bowl. So I was able to pour off the water, and then I was able to scrape out the flour into the trash. So yay, that means that I have less food and stuff clogging up the pipes to my camper. But I think that it's going to do a fairly good job with getting the oil out of my hair, and I can't wait to see how it is when it's dry. It seems the Hodgson Mills gluten-free flour is not the best ingredient to use with the rye flour method. I don't know if you can see this. The color is a lot lighter because the oil is gone, but you can just see there is some stringiness left behind, mostly up near the scalp. But if I run my hands over my hair, I can feel there's a residue left in there. And if I think about it, when I was trying to put the flour in my hair, I would get these patches of just, I'm assuming it's the tapioca and cornstarch that would just be in a thick layer in my hand, and I really had to rub at it in order to get it off. So I'm guessing that those starches coated my hair and is making everything kind of sticky and resistant. When I first felt it, when I was trying to, fluff out my hair to get it dry, I actually thought, oh no, I've got more of that wax buildup in my hair. But, I don't think that's what it is, especially considering when I look at my brush. I don't know if you can see this really well, but it's very, very white looking on the bristles of this brush. And if I look at it myself, it's very, powdery and white, and it comes off in little like clumps on my fingers, and that I'm assuming is starch that I've been brushing out of my hair. So because it is very starch based, that probably means it would be better off as one of the dry shampoo recipes you can use. The ones that I know off the top of my head are plain cornstarch or cornstarch mixed with cocoa powder to make it darker so it can blend into your hair better, especially for people with very dark hair. And I think that would be a better use for this particular ingredient. But I mean, it definitely took the oil out because it's lighter, but you can see that the clumpiness is still kind of there. It's not as stiff as it was before with the natural oils in my hair from, you know, left over from the egg mask, but it's cleaner, but you could definitely still tell that my hair has something in it. So this, as I said in the beginning of the video, is my last video for this little series that I had planned out. You know, it was very structured every 4 days so that you could just kind of see, you know, what I was using, how it affected my hair, and possibly, you know, the evolution in that first month of how my hair and scalp is adjusting to not having shampoo. I think that we have been able to see some improvement, which only would get better with time. But any videos that I make after this wouldn't be as structurally scheduled. It would be more, oh, I have these ingredients and I want to show you this recipe and we'll see how it works on my hair. So if you've been watching all these videos, thanks for following along, and I hope this has helped you to try something different with your hair care. So thanks for watching and have a nice rest of your day.